Hello everyone. Well, it's been a while since I've made a video, and right now it's actually past 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. 3 late into the night or early into the morning. But um yeah, I decided I should, you know, pop back and say hi, what's up. I know for like the 2 or 3 people that see, I sometimes ask myself, what's the point? Why should I even make any of these videos? But um I do them for me, um, mostly because it's been a very um, long journey, a very hard one, and honestly, it still hasn't really fully hit me. I was talking to my parents about this weekend, and I told my mother that it feels surreal. This whole thing has felt very surreal, has felt like I've been in some sort of a dream that has also time warped. It's like this past year has been incredibly difficult, but at the same time, I've been like in some sort of autopilot mode that I kind of just don't fully process everything that's been going on. Yes, I'm enjoying the perks and benefits of the gastrectomy and the silver lining, I guess, all the positive, if there can be positive to this whole cancer journey. Um, it's helped a lot with prior issues that I had before. My diabetes is in remission as well. I'm not taking any sort of diabetic medications. Um, Also, no issues with blood pressure, cholesterol, or anything. Um, Heart has been significantly better, and also no sleep apnea. So that has significantly improved as a result of this. Obviously, a huge amount of weight loss, and that has also triggered a series of, I guess, not problems, but situations that I've been learning to deal with more. But anyways, the point of this video, I recently had my third follow-up CT scan this past Wednesday, and it was nerve-wracking to say the very least, just because, again, we're at that point where everything kind of just comes back to memory that the initial CT scans, if not all of the CT scans, never showed any cancer, never showed any visible lesions or tumors or anything. It was more like all microscopic. So when getting results back saying, hey, we CT scans didn't show anything, um, it's exciting, because, well, yay, there's no visible lesions or anything. But at the same time, it's like, but we've been here before multiple times, and the outcomes are not always the greatest. So yeah, it's been a little frustrating. I was told that I was going to wait probably about 5 days for my results to get here. It would get sent over to my oncology team, and then it would get sent. I would have a follow-up appointment to get the results, but the results were released a little earlier, and of course, curious me, I just had to go through the findings, and I was nervous because not only have I been dealing with still some sort of issues with my diet and um, also other physical symptoms, but the fact that um, I'm still dealing with things triggers this endless loop in my mind that something could still be wrong. So uh, I was very relieved when I got the results this weekend and via my chart, and I just went in there and I was like, I need to see what this is. I read it, and with the help of I probably shouldn't say this, and please don't do this. Full disclosure, AI. I kind of just went through the findings and created a summary of what it was. I knew, I understood what it was, but I just wanted to double check, make sure that the terminology and everything in there was right, and that I understood it correctly. And yes, you know, excitingly and greatly, and yes to all the yeses. You know, there was nothing found. There was no evidence of cancer. There was no evidence of any spread of anything, so nothing was fishy. There were a few little details that are up for revisiting with my team. I will have an appointment on Tuesday with my oncology team to further discuss, but two particular things that concerned me were the fact that there was a mention that my stomach was not visible. It wasn't visibly distended, and so in the CT scan, it wasn't as visible, so they wanted to follow up on that. And also, there were some small findings that are still unknown in my kidneys. So, you know, they're not much of they're not of much worry, from what I understand. Nothing has changed since the last few CT scans, but you know, there's still that thing in my head because, you know, I still have, you know, stomach issues, and I have some random night sweats, and those are very obvious signs back then of something being wrong that, you know, prompted me to go ahead and just like get it checked. Besides the whole drama and things of, you know, the bureaucracy of getting checked. But besides that, I've been, you know, trying to figure out, like, well, you know, we've been here before. Doctors are pretty confident that everything's great. We did have that endoscopy done, and, you know, the findings were very obvious, and so we're working on getting the gastritis taken care of. We're working on getting the, you know, chronic inflammation, you know, under control. So that is a learning curve. It reminded me of, you know, the mentor that I got, you know, paired up with at Immerman Angels, which is an amazing organization that I got connected through in Northwestern. My mentor, she is amazing, and she was very real about it. You know, she had pretty much the exact same diagnosis. It was poorly cohesive gastric adenocarcinoma with signet ring features, and we were both shocked, like, whoa, our cancer has been relatively aggressive and weird. It's, you know, how's your case? And the thing that we, you know, were able to, well, the thing she was able to help me understand a bit more was the whole after process, you know, the learning how to eat. It's still, you know, going to be quite a challenge a year, probably 2 or 3 after, because it basically is a full physical change in your body. And so it's something that I'm still trying to understand and trying to get used to. And it is frustrating. I get very impatient pretty quickly, despite me thinking I'm rather patient, but, you know, there's that. I've been meeting great people these past few weeks that have been very supportive and understanding of, you know, these needs, and have, you know, offered very good advice, good help, good pointers, good questions to ask my team that, you know, I feel blessed. And like I said, this whole thing has been quite a blur for me. Like I really, you know, I'm trying to piece things together and try to come to terms that, holy, I had cancer, you know. And not only that, I beat cancer. beating cancer. And so, well, no, I'm in remission. So, yeah. And yeah, it's exciting, but at the same time, it's also very like, I don't know, it's a very weird feeling. So that has been on my mind, it's been kind of just looming over me like a, little gray cloud that I'm kind of just like, well, should I come back to do these videos? But, I do have friends and family that this is the way I kind of keep them updated. And so, yeah, I think, it's worth it, and not only that, I've had the privilege, I'd like to say, that my videos have resonated with a couple other people outside of my close circle of friends and family, and they've reached out to tell me that they've felt identified with videos, and or they've had questions that prompted them to get checked. And so yeah, no, even if it's just one person to get the right question asked, and it leads to them taking action and control of their own health, and it's perfect, and even if it didn't, even if it just made someone other than myself get inspired to do more, despite the circumstances, and it's great. So I'm pushing through, I'm working on projects that I'm trying to stay very motivated with, despite the whole climate outside right now. It's hard to stay fully focused on a lot of things, particularly when now I feel things stronger, and it's not entirely by choice, and my physiological changes makes things a little bit much more what's the word, it makes me feel it a little stronger, so and quicker. So yeah, but that's the thing, I've had to get ahead of it and be like, well, my results were back, and I just had to go ahead and say it. I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, what are we working on next? So yeah, that's that. Oh, and last week I was also dealing with a cold. I thought it was a flu, so I had to go make an appointment with my primary care doctor, and I was like, I'm sick. What's wrong with me? And so many things. No, but she is awesome. She's like, we're gonna do full thing. Strep and flu and COVID. Make sure that we're covering all the bases. Making sure that you're good. How's your asthma? How's this? How's that? So in the end, nothing. No COVID, no flu, no strep throat, no nothing. So it was just like a little cold that I had to kind of get over. And today I'm actually all better. My voice is a little off still, but whatever. What's new. It's like my Darth Vader voice in the morning, which I'm fairly attracted to. I wish it kind of stayed through that throughout the whole day. But anyways, I'm rambling. Yeah, so yeah, I do want to mention also that I have been dealing a little bit with insomnia too, so that's something that I'm still getting used to. I don't sleep too much, but I also feel that I don't fully need too much sleep. But I'm probably just gaslighting myself, because I do need sleep. All the information I'm reading, 7 hours at least, and if I'm lucky, I get 3 or 4. And every maybe once or twice, 1 or 2 days out of 2 weeks, I can sleep in maybe like 6 or 7 hours. But yeah, the insomnia thing has been quite there. I have been seeing my psychology and psychiatric team, and they're very aware of everything going on too, and they're very supportive of the treatment plans that we have in mind. So well, not in mind, that we're actually carrying out. So that is getting addressed, but yeah, no, I'm very positive through everything, but you know, that's not to say that I have a lot of questions and a lot of mixed emotions about a lot of things, and um, it kind of just leaves me in a state of not confusion, not, you know, perplexity, but um, in a state where I feel a little stagnant, you know, impatient, and you know, it kind of just gets a little overwhelming. I get flustered a bit, but you know, like I said, I've been meeting some amazing people. I've had some really cool friends that are just very supportive and helping me, you know, kind of like, you know, take it a day at a time, take it a step at a time, and you know, getting back into the real world has been a little scary, a little frustrating nonetheless, because you know the job market is really bad. But yeah, no, life doesn't stop, adulting doesn't stop. But I can't say that, you know, I haven't had a great support system. You know, my family, regardless of anything, regardless of our differences, you know, you know, they're there, and you know, it's been amazing. You know, you know, and I'm blessed. Um, Great friends, great family, um, and yeah, you know, I'm staying very positive. So I will follow up on whatever discussions come out on Tuesday. Oh, also, yes, um, a little thing that's also been on my mind is the chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy. So I've been dealing with that, particularly my right side. My, you know, arms and legs and feet get a little bit more tingly, numb. There is loss of sensation on different parts of my right side of the body. Not much to the left. I really do notice it a lot on the right. It is a little bit concerning because, you know, I thought, well, this is, you know, this too shall pass, right? And it's been, you know, the last week of March was my first week of April. Last week of March was my last chemo session. So from then on, a few months should pass by where, you know, things get flushed out of the body, and so then, you know, things should start getting relatively back to normal. But you know, that aspect hasn't, and it's been a little concerning, a little frustrating, because I'm starting to feel, you know, the lingering effects of it. And so um, I've approached that with my doctor, and we're getting, you know, appointment with a neurologist, and the necessary team of doctors to, you know, get that checked out. So it's now a lot about maintenance, you know. I got tuned up. Now it's all about maintenance now, and so it's about finding the right lawn care strategy with the right team. And so I'm excited about that. Nervous, nonetheless, of course, but excited. My hair is coming back, but I'm also a little frustrated that it's very thin still. But you know, friends tell me it takes time. You know, don't get impatient. But you know, I do miss my luscious, full set of hair. But in due time, in due time. So yeah, um, things are looking up, um, and I'm just taking it a day at a time. So that's been that, you know. I'm excited, um, and I'm just hoping that, you know, we get more good news on Tuesday. And if they're not great news, then you know, the right solutions for them. So yeah, this video's been too long, but you know, my comeback, first video of 2026. Wow, we survived. I survived the first month of 2026. But anyways, yeah, thank you for watching again, and yeah, thank you for everything, you know, and shout out to all of my friends and my family that watch this. And I'm excited to share the new projects that I'm working on. I said that in the last video, and I still haven't shared them, but soon. soon. All right. Thank you. Have a great one.